I am Dr. B. Sudhakar Reddy, Professor of Physics, SKR and SKR Government College for Women, Kadapa. Today we are going to learn objectives, matter waves and its dual nature. These are the outlines. De Broglie waves or matter waves, de Broglie hypothesis of matter waves, de Broglie's wavelength equation, properties of matter waves, division and Germer's experiment, theory, observations and conclusions. We are going to know about de Broglie. He is a de Broglie scientist. He awarded Nobel Prize. The Nobel Prize is 3 years later in 1927. De Broglie idea was confirmed by experiments and he received the Nobel Prize for his discovery of the wave nature of electrons in 1929. This made him the first person to receive a Nobel Prize on a PhD thesis. This is the Nobel Prize medal for him. This picture shows the interview with de Broglie in 1967. To know the interview with de Broglie, please right click the following link and select open hyperlink to watch the interview. Now we are going to discuss about matter waves. Wave particle duality of light. After fighting over hundreds of years, the issue of whether light is a particle or wave is finally settled, or rather compromised in the early 20th century. It is now generally accepted that light is a particle as well as wave. It is a hybrid called a wave particle. Here this is the wave, this is the particle. De Broglie waves are matter waves. De Broglie hypothesis of matter waves. De Broglie proposed the concept of matter waves based on the following hypothesis. Number 1. Nature loves symmetry. According to the fundamental forms of energy, matter and radiation must be mutually symmetric. If the radiation possesses dual nature, then the matter should also possess dual nature. That is, matter should also act like a wave. Second one, a close parallelism between mechanics and optics. According to Maupassant's principle of least action in mechanics, a moving particle chooses always that path for which the action is minimum. Similarly, according to Fermat's principle of least action in optics, a light ray always travels along the path that for which the time of transit is minimum. Hence, there must be a close parallelism between mechanics and optics. Third one, Bohr's theory of atomic structure. According to this, stable states of electrons are governed by integer rules. Similarly, in a wave motion, interference and vibrations of stretched strings are also governed by integer rules. Fourth one, inequality of quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics cannot explain the consistency of velocity of photons emitted from a source. Similarly, the energy of photon is given by E equal to h nu, where h equal to Planck's constant, nu is the photon frequency. Based on the 4 points, de Broglie suggested that the matter must also possess dual nature, that is particle and wave nature. Hence, a moving particle is always associated with a wave. This wave is called de Broglie wave or matter wave. Now, we are going to derive an equation for de Broglie wavelength. According to Planck's quantum theory, the energy of photon having a frequency nu is given by E equal to h nu or E equal to hc by lambda, where nu equal to c by lambda. According to Einstein mass energy relation, the energy of a photon having the frequency nu is given by E equal to mc square. From equations 1 and 2, we get mc square equal to hc by lambda or lambda equal to hc lambda equal to h by mc. This is equation number 3, where P equal to mc, that is equal to momentum associated with a photon. If we consider a material particle of mass m is moving with a velocity v, then the wavelength associated with this particle can be expressed as lambda equal to h by mv or lambda equal to h by p, where p equal to mv, that equal to momentum. Now we are discussing different equations for de Broglie wavelength. Among these equations, case 1, if P is the momentum of the particle, then its kinetic energy is given by E equal to half into mv square, that equal to P square by 2m or P equal to square root of 2me. Therefore, de Broglie wavelength is lambda equal to h by root of 2me. Case 2. If a particle charge E is accelerated through a potential difference of v volts, then the de Broglie wavelength can be written as lambda equal to h by 2 square root of 2m E into v, where capital E is the EV, that equal to kinetic energy. Case 3. When a material particle is in the thermal equilibrium at a temperature capital T, then kinetic energy equal to 3 by 2 into kT, that equal to kinetic energy, where K is the Boltzmann constant equal to 1.38 into 10 power minus 38 joule per Kelvin. Then de Broglie wavelength can be written as lambda equal to h by root of 3m kT. Now we are going to discuss the properties of matter waves. Number 1, de Broglie wavelength is inversely proportional to mass of the particle, that is lambda is directly proportional to 1 by m. Second one, de Broglie wavelength is inversely proportional to velocity of the particle, that is lambda is inversely proportional to v. Third one, velocity of a de Broglie wave can be greater than velocity of light. Fourth one, matter waves are not electromagnetic waves. Fifth one, wave and particle nature do not exist at time. Sixth one, the velocity of de Broglie wave is not constant. Now we are discussing about Division-Germer's experiment on electron diffraction. Here Division and Germers are originally studying the scattering of electrons from a solid a nickel target using an apparatus as shown in figure 1. This experiment supports the existence of matter waves. If the electrons were associated with a wave, then they must show diffraction similar to X-rays. This is the experimental arrangement of Davison's and Germer's experiment. Here F is the filament, B is the high tension battery. Here S1 and S2 are the slits. Here T is the target. Here G is the electron gun. Here C is the cylinder. This cylinder is rotated on circular scale. It is graduated. It is moved on graduated scale. Now we are discuss the experimental procedure of Davison-Germer's experiment. The experiment consists of an electron gun G as shown in figure 1. It emits electrons on heating the filament capital F. They are collimated by the slits S1, S2, S3 and accelerated towards the anode capital A by applying a potential difference of V. These electrons strikes a nickel crystal normally and scatter in different direction. The intensity of scattered electrons at different angles theta can be measured by a Faraday cylinder C. It can be moved over a graduated scale S. The current in the galvanometer G is directly proportional to the intensity of scattered electrons. A small negative potential is applied to the cylinder to prevent secondary electrons from entering it. These electrons are produced due to the collision between the electrons and crystal. The experiment is repeated for several accelerating voltages at different angles. For different accelerating voltages, polar graphs are drawn between colatitude angles and the intensity. The curves obtained at several voltages are shown in the figure 2. A pronounced scattering occurs at voltage V equal to 54 volts and at a colatitude angle of theta equal to 50 degrees and 50 degrees. Under these conditions, the surface of atoms of nickel crystal act like ruling of a grating and produces first order diffraction pattern. Here this figure 2 shows the variation in intensity and scattering angles for different accelerating voltages. These are called polar graphs. Here we discuss figure A, B, C and D, E. This figure represents for 44 volts, B is represents for 48 volts, C represents for 54 volts, D represents for 64 volts, graph E is represents for 68 volts. Among these 5 graphs, polar graphs, we observed that here we observed C graph. Here at C graph we apply 54 degrees and the scattered electrons angle can be measured at 50 degrees. Then Davison and Germer are calculated the de Broglie wavelength by using de Broglie wave equation and Bragg's condition. Now we discuss about the theory, observation and conclusions. The de Broglie wavelength of electrons of charge E accelerated through a potential difference of V equal to 54 volts, then de Broglie wavelength lambda equal to h by square root of 2m E into V. By substituting the mass of the electron and the charge of the electron and Planck's constant values in this equation, we get the de Broglie wavelength lambda equal to 12.24 divided by square root of V, or lambda equal to 12.24 by root 54 volts, that equal to 1.67 angstrom units. This is the wavelength, de Broglie wavelength, according to his equation, de Broglie equation. Next, from the Bragg's law for diffraction of electron wave, the condition is given by 2d sin phi equal to n lambda. This is the equation 1. Here, this is the figure. This is the nickel crystal layers, interplanar planes, and this is the electron beam. This is the distance between atom to atom, and this is the scattering angle phi. These are the scattered electrons. Here the interplanar distance is the d. Here he calculated the de Broglie wavelength by using Bragg's condition. According to Bragg's condition, they calculated first order spectrum n equal to 1, and interplanar distance in a nickel crystal, it is a standard value d equal to 0.91 angstrom units, and glancing angle corresponding to Bragg's planes phi equal to 90 minus 25 degrees, that equal to 65 degrees. From equation 1, now we are going to substitute the value of phi and d and small n. We get 2d sin phi by n equal to lambda, lambda equal to 2 into 0.91 into sin 65 degrees, that is equal to 1.65 angstrom units. This is the de Broglie wavelength. This is the de Broglie wavelength by using Bragg's condition. Thus, the wavelength calculated from Bragg's law was found to be in good agreement with the de Broglie wavelength of the electron waves. Hence, the division and Germer experiments supports the existence of matter waves. Finally, I acknowledge that I would like to express my grateful thanks to Sri M.M. Nayak Garu, Honorable Special Commissioner, Collegiate Education, Andhra Pradesh, Vijayawada, Dr. D. Giri sir, Academic Guidance Officer, and Professor P. Subbalakshma Madam, Principal SKR and SKR Government College for Women, Kadapa, for giving the opportunity to develop e-content and also to conduct online classes regularly for the benefit of the students in lockdown period. Further, I also express my heartfelt thanks to the academic officers, namely Dr. G. Giribabu sir, Dr. B. Sudhakar Rao sir, and Dr. G. D. Rajendra Kumar sir, for giving their valuable advices and suggestions, for their kind encouragement and moral support. Thank you, one and all.